Hi everybody. I just wanted to talk a little bit on the subject of mediumship and why some people should do it and why others shouldn't do it. And just for the purposes of this little webcast, I'm not going to mention the name of this UK/Australian reader, teacher, and all of that, because God knows she's going to come back like wrath. But everybody knows who she is because she was on my, anybody who was in that room that night when it occurred, they know who she is. And anybody who was actually watching my videos here on YouTube, they know, they listen to her voice. So if you hear that voice, run like hell. Now here's the issue. Years ago, her son died, very tragically, okay, and she never received help for it. And she never got closure on it, and she never really came to peace with it. And when it came down to her reading about my brother, she got a lot of things wrong, just because of the fact that the minute he started to tell her about him having something hung around his neck, or there's something significant about something being hung around his neck, she didn't want to see suicide. She actually saw that it was some kind of necklace or something, that weird memoir that somebody was actually wearing after the fact that he'd passed. Well, that's not true. It was the fact that he'd actually hung himself. Thank you very much. And that video actually stirred up a little bit of hope in us, hoping that, maybe he didn't do that. And because there were some things in there that were actually accurate, but a lot of things were off. And that's why I had to sit there and study it just a bit, because I knew it wasn't all right. I knew a lot of it didn't fit. Number one, we never owned a German Shepherd. Hello. Number two, there's no Maria in our family. And number three, there's so many things. All she could do was like, oh, there's twos. There's a bunch of twos. Show me twos. I don't know if there's two children. Two. She just went on and on. She couldn't get to the point of it. And even to the rabbit, she couldn't get to the point of it. And there's a lot of different things. There's some things she was right on. And yes, there was a problem with the marriage and all this other stuff. But the fact of the matter was that, she was off on a lot of things. And so I had to make sure, about everything about her. But she's not dealt with her own son's death, so she has no right to be reading anybody else, because she can't even deal with the fact of suicide. So that's a big one. Everybody, go out there and get your help if you've had this or experienced this in your life, because it's not an easy thing to deal with. It's not an easy thing to accept. Hell, I called my mom today, and she said, he did not kill himself. And, it's like she doesn't want to believe that he could do that. But, hello, he tried it when he was 17. Duh. Hello. He told me, he told his ex-girlfriend, he probably told his wife, and she's not mentioning anything because she knows damn well that she is somewhat responsible, because she knew he was mentioning it, before he died. But the whole point of it is that mediums shouldn't read in an area where they have not gotten closure on. And this woman, you can't even bring her son up to her, because she just tries to throws him out the back window. Now, I'm sorry, if that was my child and I was her child and she threw me out the window, I'd be one pissed off kid. And you know what? He has every right to be pissed off, even in spirit, because his mother's neglecting herself. And now she's neglecting him, when that was exactly what she was trying to feel guilt over when, after he passed to begin with. So anyways, everything in my life happens for a reason. So I think that this lady was meant to come to me to read me, because the fact that she of course has a similar situation that she's not dealt with and needs to deal with, so that she can get the readings accurate. Because I was very settled in the fact that my brother had taken his own life, and then all of a sudden she comes in with this ray of hope that maybe he didn't. And it was all bull. It was all a bunch of bull. Because the whole fact of my mother being his shining light, that should have been clue number one. Hi, he didn't even want to invite her to the wedding because he didn't want issues at the wedding. And she's a very, very dramatic person. And even now she's trying to cause drama because, she wants to say that somebody murdered him when they didn't. So now my mother's pissed, and, But the one thing that was true on the video was my brother's voice, and that was very cool, because that was actually the first time I've ever heard a real EVP, and that was clear as day to me, because I know my brother's voice, and my sister knows it, and, that was very cool. Some of the messages were very nice. A lot of things that he wouldn't have said, actually, nor the way that he would have said them. But okay, let's just keep all little nice little accidents. It's just we're cool, and we'll think that we're like shabby-dabby because, maybe we're like some super hot star, who's a medium and is on TV. But you're not her. You're not her. And your life's not perfect. Hey. I've always been criticized because I've always been the one who comes forward and says what's actually wrong with my life rather than what's right with it. But I'm very, very, I make that clear to everybody before I go off and try to make myself out to be this great person. I'm human. I've made tons of mistakes. Actually, they were fun. But I've made a lot of different adventures in life, and I've lived through them all, and I've had so much experience, it's ridiculous. So I'm proud of my so-called mistakes. I mean, you want to judge them? You're only judging yourself. So anyways, my point is that this lady needs help, and if any of you know who she is, I suggest you get her some help, because she's not helping anybody at this point. She's hurting a lot of people, including the people that she's teaching, because you can't teach people mediumship when you're in denial of your own son's death. You can't do that. It just doesn't work right. And it's very ironic that you would actually ignore your own son, even after death. Freaking A, man, that's got to be a big one for you. You better go get some help. Anyways, that's my spiel, and I know I've already been warned that a bunch of people will probably try to come after me, but I've got the evidence, I've got the tape, I've got the one, and plus she bragged it off to all of you people around the world that it's on her email list, because it was all about ego for her. It wasn't about, oh yes, look at this woman, look at this EVP, look at this spirit that was so strong that came through in her house, not in her house, my house, my house. And she wouldn't have had that without me, and I was just trying to be kind. But so much for that, huh? Because this lady's full of ego and doesn't want to admit that she's in a schnickload of pain and really needs help. So, that's my spiel. And I hope I don't do anybody else wrong by screwing up on, the whole suicide thing. I think I've got it down now. Don't have anybody else confusing me anymore. I am pretty set where I'm at with it, so I hope you guys all join my room, Pal Talk. It's called Afterlife Connections every Monday night, and we'll see you there. Enjoy!